Okay, welcome back to another VB.NET tutorial about making a simplified accounting system. In the previous video, we finished all the classes for our project, and the only thing remaining, not the only thing, but most of the work remaining is related to the graphical user interface. So we are gonna start with that. So here we need to create a GUI for our project, and this is going to be something that is very straightforward. So we have lib.db is the first one, and we have test project. So now this is the database library, and we are going to add a new project here. This is the new project, and this is going to be VB project, and it is going to be a Windows application, Windows Forms application, as you can see here, and we are going to call this lib.gui. Sorry. Oops, what's wrong there? lib.gui. Probably I should have called the first one accounting.lib and the second one accounting.gui, but whatever. You could choose whatever name here. This is not a bigger project, so the naming will not make a bigger problem. Okay, but basically probably I should have used a different name. Regardless of that, anyway, so we have lib.gui. So I'm gonna click add. Okay, now I want to make sure of something. First, what is the compilation for the library? Here it is any CPU, which means it is gonna work as 46-bit applications if it is deployed on 46-bit machine, or 32 if it is deployed on 32. So no problem. And I just make sure that this second project here is the same. So on the compile part, again, it's any CPU. There's no problem here. Okay, now let me close all these documents. Don't want to see many forms open. Now, so we first create this one, the GUI project. So I'm gonna put one here. We finished that. It's very easy. Now we need to create the login window, right? Okay, so this project, when it starts, let me show you here. This is our project, and when it is starting, it's gonna go and run this form. It is called form 1. I don't want to use the default name. I'm gonna change that to rename the file to application main window, and hit enter. And now the dialog is asking me if I should change the name of the class, and I will hit yes to confirm that. Now double click, and this is the application main window. The title is form 1. I'm gonna change this one to be simplified accounting system. Very straightforward, there's no problem here. Now, with the starting position for this window should be in the center of the screen. Okay, now let me just run this. It should just show a window in the middle of the screen, as you can see, and there is nothing, no login, no whatever. Now, to simplify things a little bit, we are going to make a login window, right? Because this is what are we supposed to do. So I'm gonna right click here, and I will select add and select a new item. Now if you go and select Windows Forms, you will find a number of templates here. There is an about box, there is you could put a dialog, there is a login form that is ready for you. Okay, so I'm gonna say I will change the name to application login window and hit add. You don't have to use this one, okay, but if you want to do things quickly, you could do that. but I will remove this one and I will create one manually step by step so that you could understand how to create the user interface in an acceptable way. Sorry about that. So I will delete this form, and yes, and it is gone. Now I will right click here. Okay, wait a second. Before that, I will try to make the user interface a little bit better. So for this reason, I will start GIMP. I will create the icons and everything. I won't use something ready, just showing you things quickly. Basically, if you want professional look to your application, you will need to do what do you call it? You might want to buy a few icons and resources. Now, the fastest thing to do when you want to work, in my case, when you want to work and make icons or a graphical user interface quickly, if you want to do such resources, you might want to insert. Okay, since it's an accounting system, I will put the $sign. Okay, so $3, make it bold, increase that a little bit, and you might want to use not this one, word art or something like that, whatever. So I will use these. Okay, so I will use this one. I will copy and then I will paste it into GIMP. So there's this one, this option. I will create from clipboard and we get these. Okay, no problem. And now I will scale image, go to scale image. I want this to be a 32 by 32. Okay, so we scale that, and finally file export as. I will go to the desktop so that I could find the file easily, and I will call this accounting icon.ico. Okay, and I will hit export, and instead of 8-bit 32-bit per pixel. Okay, that's wonderful, and I will export that. This is the first export, and I will make another one, export as another one as PNG. Okay, so I have two exports here. You don't have to do this, but you know, just in case you want to do these very quickly, and yeah, it's very straightforward. So I close Microsoft Word and save that. Yeah, whatever. Okay, so now where are the icons? The icons are on the desktop. So I will do the following. I'm gonna copy these two icons. I'll make a copy and I paste it so that they are now part of the project, so you could find them very easily. Now I will display the properties. I'll go to this form, check out its icons, this one, the default, and I will change that. I don't like it, so I will go here. I'll go here and go to the desktop in this case, and I will select this icon. So now it's changed into this one. It's not very clear because the resolution of this desktop is a little bit high, but anyway, it just changed. So this is how we can change the icon. I'll change the font to be Times New Roman and bold and 10. Maybe, yeah, 10 will be great. Okay, we finished this one. Also, we want to go here and display the properties of the project and go to application, the default icon. I'm going to select the accounting icon here. Now let us run the project, and as you can see here, down here now it's the icon of our project. So we change the icon, and the appearance is very important to change the appearance of your application, and select a specific theme. For some reason I'm gonna choose kind of bluish theme. Okay, so where is for this one, let's go to the back color, and I could choose one of the colors of the window, but I will use custom. so I don't have to abide by that. And yeah, there's a lot of colors here, but I need something that is, easy on the eyes. Not sure about this one. Let me find something that is, a little bit more comfortable. I'm not sure about this. I hope it's okay. Anyway, so I changed this one, no problem. So now you see how you can change a little bit of the coloring of the form itself and the icon. Now we'll work on the login window. We'll try to work with the controls themselves. So before that, let me show the form. Okay, this is the form, no problem. Let's go back. So now the login window, we will go to add and a new item, and we are going to use a Windows form, and I will set everything in this form manually. So here, what are we going to do? I'm going to call this application login window and add that. Okay, wonderful. Now this one need to be a dialog, so I'll do few things here, so check them out. Now let's go from the very top, the back color. I need to select the same one I chose for the main window, and I'm not sure which one I chose. I should have remembered the color a little bit. I think it was this one, light steel blue. Yeah, it's light steel blue. Now we don't want a control box. Okay, what about the font? It was Times New Roman, bold and 10, and okay. And the icon need to be this one. Okay, and then what also do we need? We don't want a maximize box, and we don't want a minimize box, and there is a problem here. The window can be changed in size from the edges. Okay, so there's something called form border style. Instead of sizable, you will choose fixed single. This way this form will always have a specific width. Now the title of the window, it should be something like this. That is gonna be accounting simplified accounting system login. Okay, now this is the title, and this form should appear in at the center of the screen. Okay, now we will place the controls. Now usually you need a label, so we are gonna put a label here and another label here, and then you will need a text box for entering username and another text box for entering the password, and you will need a button for login and another button for canceling that. Now the problem here is that you might want to place these things manually, and you could do that, but placing them precisely takes a little bit of time, so there's something that could speed things up for you and make your life much easier, which is called table layout panel, and it is an invisible control that will help you specify where each item could be placed. Okay, so in this case, in order for me to do things quickly, I'll place the first label here, second label here, the text box here, the text box here. The buttons will be last. Okay, now the size of the label, don't want it to be very big. I think this will be enough. Okay, and this all will be in here. So you can see I just change things. Now the second issue here, although I placed them, the controls are not in the middle, so I could just select these, and I could go to something called anchor. Make sure to select left and right. Sorry. Okay, so now as you can see, by the way, you could select multiple controls by clicking and keep pressing shift. Okay, if you want to deselect, keep pressing shift and just click again. Okay, so now we selected these guys, and we changed their size, everything's fine now. Now let's go to the label. This one should be username, and this one should be password. Okay, now this one, it is the text box for username, so you could say that the name of the control, you could leave it as it is if you'd like to, or you could give it a meaningful name that will help you later on in the programming, which is tx username. You don't have to do that, but it's preferable to do so. As for this one, there's gonna be tx password and enter, and this text box will place the text in a plain format, so you will see what you are typing. You want to display stars, so there's a property called here password char. Where is that? This is password char, and we will put a star, and the star will replace, or the circle will replace the character that you type. One last thing, this button will be for login, and this button will be for cancel. Okay, so I'll make these a little bit big. Okay, just making sure that these guys are the same size. Okay, no problem. Now let me see. Okay, so now this is the size of the window. I will make them here. Now we haven't finished yet. Why? Because we want the tab order here to be logical and acceptable. So for this reason, you could click each control and go for something called the tab index and change that manually. So this will be number 0, this will be number 1, this will be number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. So it will take a while. Or if you select the main window, there should be something here that could help you. Let me see. The button, there's one of the buttons. Oh, this is it. This is the tab order button. Okay, if you don't see this command, you click here and add remove buttons, and you'll find it here. Okay, so now I am selecting the window. I could just click here and you see these numbers. So I will click on the table layout. So this will have number 0 for this. So this is the first, this will receive the focus first, and then within that this will be focused first, second, third, and fourth, and after that here and here. And when you finish, you just click. And if you click on these, you'll find that the tab index here is 0. This is tab index 1. This is tab index 2, 3. This will be very useful if you have a window that has lots of controls and you need to set the tab index for them. Okay. Now, since we finished this one, I'm gonna say when you press cancel, we will just say me.dialogResult equal cancel, no problem. And if you hit login, me.dialogResult equals OK. Very straightforward. Now, before you return OK, you want to make sure that the user entered a password and entered a username. So if tx username.text equals nothing, then msgbox. We will show the following message. I think in VB there's something else. Let me show something else here. Message box, yeah, dot show. This is another MSG box is used in VB6, and it's used in the normal VB.NET, but you should replace it with this one, message box dot show. So what message do you want to show? I would like to say username is missing. Okay, and next we want to display a caption. So here this is an error, Okay, and by the way, if you look here, I don't know all the parameters, but this is overloaded function, so you can see there are 20 different versions of these. So I click here, there's another one, you can see here the owner window and the text you want to display. There's another one, it has text, caption, and buttons. Okay, I want to display the OK, and I want to display the icon, and the icon here is error. Okay, and finally exit sub. So if you forget to enter the username, you should get, you should get this error message until you enter the username. Also, the same applies for password. So I'm gonna copy this one here, paste it here. This is gonna be tx password. Okay, password is missing. Okay, and that's it. Now we created the dialog, but there is no code and communication with the database so far. Don't worry about that. Now if you think about it, we have in our GUI project now two windows. There is the application main window and there is the application login window. So what happens? Well, your application is gonna start by loading the application main window. So we could use that to our advantage. So I'm gonna double click this one and double click this form. So when the form loads, there's this load event. This load event is being triggered, so you could do initialization here, and in our case we are gonna get the username and password in here. So I'm gonna say the following: dimension login window as a new, I'm gonna generate an object of application login window. Application login window. So we create a window that is called login window, and it is of this type. And then if login window dot show dialog, if it doesn't returns OK, in that case we are gonna end the application. No problem. Okay, so the code here is very simple. We are creating a username and password window, and then we are gonna show that. Let us run this application and check this out. We just got the username and password, so we're gonna click login and we get username is missing, so let's say Smith, and login again, password is missing, and you write anything, right? And I'm gonna click login again and I get the window regardless of what I typed here. Now two things we need to do. First, we need to avoid memory leaks. Each window will need to be disposed later on, so we could do the following. We could say using and end using. Okay, so when you use this keyword using a variable of type something, and there is end using, well, this is a very simple code. The login window will work normally until it gets out of until your execution gets out of end using. At that very point, your login window will be disposed automatically without you having to unload the window, so you will get rid of memory leaks and stuff like that. Okay, so this is the first thing here. Okay, and it will not affect your performance whatsoever. You are just making sure that no memory leak is gonna happen. So let's run here. Okay, everything's fine. We log in, that's it. Now the second thing we need to do is to perform the login really. Okay, by accessing the function that we created in the lib.db. Okay, so how do we do that? If you write lib.db, well, you cannot recognize that. That is because you need to tell the GUI project that it need access to the DB project. To do that, right click on your GUI project and select add and select reference. Now there are a number of options here. Assemblies represent the DLLs that are available on your system. Solutions represent the project that you made. Sorry about that. Okay, so we are gonna select this one and hit OK. Now we have access to the DB here. Okay, so what are we gonna do? So we're gonna do the following. Dimension username as string equals nothing. This is a local variable, and dimension password as string equals nothing again. And if all goes well, username equals login window dot tx username, and password Okay, sorry for the interruption. Now continuing. So username is going to be equal to the login window that we created dot text tx username. This is the text box, and we need to get the text here. And the password is going to be login window dot tx password dot text. Okay, so now at this very point we get the username and password. So here, let me put a comment here. Get the username and password. Now we need to open database connection, right? So here I'm gonna say try. Let me check this dimension. I don't think I need the try here. Let me see. Dimension db as lib.db database manager class. This is gonna be new database management class, and db.open database connection, right? So I need to define the error message as string equals nothing. So now if not error message, then so we try to open a connection to the database. So if we could not open a connection to the database, we should display an error message. So we have message box dot show cannot open connection with database. Okay, and db new line and error message, and we are going to display the error message beneath that, and we're going to say error, maybe fatal error, because you cannot avoid that. The application is going to stop now, followed by only followed by critical. This is a critical error. Okay, and the application is gonna close, right? Did I forget something here? Seems like I forget something. Sorry. So this is the text, this is the caption, okay, and this is the buttons, and this is the anything else here. This should work well, I suppose, and then we need to end that. What do we have here? Overload. Okay, problem with overloading. This one is a string. Makes no sense here. Okay, let me just check things quickly since I created the login window. What did we do there? Oh, it's this one. All right, so for some reason this one buttons okay, and this one icons message box, sorry, message box icon dot, let me see, warning, error. Okay, I passed a different type of parameter here, and this is why it was getting the critical error. Okay, so now here we open the database connection, and now we perform user login. So we have lib.db.users class dot perform user login, right? And what we need to do, we need to pass a few things. First, we need to pass the DB object. This is the first thing. And then we need to pass the username. Okay. And then we need to pass the password and the error message. And the result should be returned in a user object. So I will put the user object in here. So public. I'll put it here for now, but I will change this later on. Logged user as lib.db.users class equals nothing. And now this is gonna be logged user equals, okay, now I'm gonna check that the user was able to log in successfully. So if logged user is nothing, then this means that a problem happened. So I will show a message box and also terminate the application. And in this case, I'm gonna say invalid username. Okay, cannot log in into the system. And I will display the error message, etc., etc. But before I end the application, I should say db.close database. Okay, I don't care about the error in this case, just want to close it because later on I will end the application, so no problem. Okay, yeah, so if I get the logged user object, this means that everything is working fine. So let us run this application again and say here we have Smith 123 login and cannot log in into the system, invalid username. Wonderful. Now we are gonna try to log in again. This is gonna be admin, and the password, I'm gonna put the wrong password. Login, invalid password. Okay, basically your system should display invalid username or password. You don't want to give hints for the people to try different usernames until they get one and then they try password to crack it. You don't want to give hints regarding that, but this is just for an illustration and learning. So let's go back. Now we have admin and 123, and we can log in into the system successfully. Now one last thing, since all is well, we are going to db.close database. We close the database connection as soon as we finish any operation. So here, close db connection, all is okay. Very straightforward, very easy. Okay, I know it took a little bit of time, but our work is very organized, and you will find that there is very little code that is related to the database. Here we are opening the database, right? It's very straightforward. We are just making a call. Here we are performing the login operation. We are just making a call and displaying user interface. So Most of the code in the graphical user interface project is related to the UI, while most of the code in the DB project is related to the actual classes that are doing the business. Now let us go back to our code, our progress, and see create a window for login. We already did that. Create a function for login. We already created that. So we finished these two. It's kind of slow today, sorry about that. But you know, I wanted to go a little bit slow to explain to you what we are doing step by step and make things a little bit more clear. That's it for today. Thank you for watching, and if you want to download the source code, you will find it on the website. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye. And where is that? Okay, I should stop it here.